Thank you very much for choosing the Powerful Communication podcast from Comsteria. This is Colin Kelly, back with another episode, and today we're talking podcasting, or rather this supposed new definition for what is a podcast. I always think any time an industry tries to define itself, the rest of the world collectively groans. Podcasting didn't need a definition, and I'm going to explain why and what the problem with this is in this episode. But let me just tell you what's happened. So a bunch of people in the industry got together. They call themselves the Alliance for Measurement in Podcasting. They have attempted to define or redefine what a podcast is in the hope, I believe, that makes it an easier sell to advertising agencies. So I think underlying all of this is that it becomes more professional and that ultimately it attracts more investment. Now, there's more money being spent on podcasts in the last 12 months than ever before, but these people seem to believe, well, they've got evidence, they'll say, that there's more money sitting waiting, that because it can't be properly defined, they say, because it can't be properly measured, they say that ad agencies and big business are holding back quite a bit of money. So they're called the Alliance for Measurement in Podcasting, and they have attempted to solve some of these problems. And this is their new definition of what a podcast is. A podcast, they say, is an on-demand show rooted in the spoken word and fully intelligible as audio. So they're trying to protect the audio element of it, while also, as you'll see in a moment, accepting and bringing in video into that podcast fold. So fully intelligible as audio, typically episodic and conversational, podcasts cover wide-ranging themes and formats. They are accessed as audio or video via open RSS feeds, and this is the new bit, and other distribution methods. Now, I've got to say, that is not the definition of a podcast. Podcasts have had a definition for well over 20 years, and the thing that gave them that, the definition, was the RSS feed. It was audio or video, and to be honest, podcasting did include things like PDFs. You could send JPEGs through a podcast. Hardly anybody did, but you could. It was the distribution method that made it a podcast. And yes, typically, that was going to be MP3 audio. But even as far back as 2004, there were video podcasts. What they're doing now with this new definition, and by putting RSS feeds alongside other distribution methods, which to me, a podcast without an RSS feed is not a podcast. It's a Netflix show. Or it's an MP3 on your website, or it's SoundCloud, or it's a YouTube video, or it's on Facebook. Now, it might look and feel and sound like a podcast, and to me, call it whatever you like, I don't care. But without the RSS feed, a purist will tell you it is not a podcast. Now, I understand with all the content and audio content and all the money coming in and people calling it a podcast, the desire to break away from that, from relying on that RSS feed. The audience doesn't care. The problem with it all is that if you break that RSS feed, if you say other distribution methods, we don't need that RSS feed, what you're losing is you're losing the democratization of podcasts. And where you'll end up is yet another algorithmic feed controlled by the few. Yes, you'll bring in more money. Yes, you'll bring in advertising revenue. Yes, it will be easier to measure and give results back to the client. But what it will do is it will concentrate the power in the few, which is great news if you're a goal hanger of the world. Not so great news if you're trying to become the next goal hanger, if you're starting from scratch now. That, I believe, is the risk. If Netflix have audio and video content that they want to monetize, let them. But it's a Netflix show. It's not a podcast. If there's no RSS feed, it's not a podcast. It is a colossal mistake to take this, I hate the word ecosystem, but I'll use it, this culture, and to bring it in to the algorithmic, advertising saturated feed that everyone I speak to is desperate to get away from. Every adult I speak to tells me, I don't like this, I don't want this, I'm trying to come off this. Teenagers that I speak to, the younger teenagers, 13, 14-year-olds, they scoff at it and go, I'm not going there. I don't want that. You lot are all hooked. No chance. We worry so much about teenage behaviour on social media. Of course, there's a downside. Of course, there's a problem. Some of the younger teenagers are really smart. They don't want to go near it. This advertising saturated, data driven, privacy out the window, algorithmic feed where you can't get the stuff you want and you're bombarded with this negative stuff that knocks you into therapy. It is a colossal mistake taking podcasting down this route. I appreciate you want to involve video. It always did. The previous definitions of podcasts always allowed for video to be developed. There were early versions of the iPod. There was the iPod Touch. All of this stuff. As far back as 2004, you could deliver video via a podcast. Hardly anybody did, but that's not the point. You could have done it. So we didn't need this definition. What this is sucking up to large advertising agencies and people who already have power in other media and wish that they got in on podcasting because they see themselves losing out. It's a huge mistake. It's not going to make more people listen. You call it whatever you like. It's like the word Hoover. Do you know what I mean? Or people saying, oh, Google that, and they might have been using Yahoo or whatever. All it's going to do is concentrate more power with those who already have it. Podcasting should be free. It should be open. There are no rules. There should be no algorithm. The RSS is absolutely critical. Speak to anybody who is involved in news publishing and they will tell you that the demise of the RSS feed in terms of news publishing, where you used to be able to subscribe to websites via RSS, taking that away, they bitterly regret it because now you're at the mercy of that Facebook feed, that Instagram algorithm, and all the rest of it. It's a complete mess. I understand that, sometimes things don't fit into neat and tidy boxes. I understand the desire to grow, to attract more money, to make a name for yourself. This is a mistake. This is not a definition of podcasting. Podcasting has already had a definition for well over 20 years. What they're doing here is attempting to reinterpret what a podcast is, I assume, for the needs of the few. So I don't like it. I don't like it at all. If it works with your eyes closed, it's a podcast. Sure, all right. But honestly, you need to resist this algorithmic, advertising-saturated feed.